Hello fellow brawlers, I'm KairosTime and it is time to brawl. It's also time for us to talk about the next update. Now as you recall, at the end of the last Brawl Talk, Ryan said this.
And we'll see you next time in October.
Well, at the time that I am releasing this video, we are halfway through October and we don't have any information on any update anywhere. So I wanted to talk about what I think we can expect. 4 new brawlers, 3 new game modes, clan wars, and 1 million free gems for every player. Okay, clearly I'm joking. In fact, I don't think we should be expecting anything nearly as big as that. And honestly, I don't think we should be expecting very much for this update. Let me explain why, and then I'm going to talk about what I think we can expect. And after I talk about my predictions for the update, I'm going to talk about the WKBRL stream and how HIT has changed recently and just kind of share a few of my thoughts with you guys. You see, just because Ryan said,
and we'll see you next time in October,
doesn't actually mean that there will be a full-blown update in October. In fact, as I'm recording this video, there are still about 40 days left by the end of the season, and I would be surprised if we got any big changes added to the game until about a week before the end of the season. That would mean that the next actual update would happen sometime around November 14th, an entire month away from now. Now, to support my theory, recently somebody mentioned that they were expecting the next update in October on Frank's Twitter, and Frank responded by saying, no, we didn't say that there would be an update. We said, see you in October, which could mean a lot of things. Now, I don't think that this means that we won't get an update in October. I think that Frank is mostly just wanting people to understand that they never promised anything other than they would see us in October, so that we wouldn't be expecting anything huge for the update in October. But I absolutely do expect that we will be getting some sort of an update in October. I just don't think it'll be very big. And the reason why I think that we'll be getting something is because I've been playing Supercell games for a really long time, and there's one holiday that they really like to create themes around and put out for updates in their games, and that is Halloween. In fact, Brawl Stars has had a Brawloween update every single year since it's gone global, which is just 1 year, so it's really not an important point, but you guys get the idea. It only makes sense to me that we would be getting some type of a Brawloween themed update at least sometime before October 31st. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some spooky themed skins like we had in the last Brawloween theme, but I also would not be surprised to see if they did a Brawloween theme like a different theme, kind of like they did pirates for the last Brawler Days events, right? Pirates aren't really very Christmassy, but they did pirates for Brawler Days. So one guess that I have is a villain theme that would include the Demonic Bow, Archvillain B, and Zombie B skins from the previous Supercell Make winners. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they did some sort of a Jurassic theme similar to Caveman Frank because of how many dinosaurs there were in the investor video that took over the most recent Brawl Talk. But overall, my guess is a villain theme. And I'm really hopeful that we'll be getting a new brawler that would actually fit this theme, because for the last 2 updates, the only brawlers that we got were chromatic brawlers. Currently, there are 11 trophy road brawlers, 4 rare brawlers, 5 super rare brawlers, 6 epic brawlers, 5 mythic brawlers, 4 legendaries, and 3 chromatic brawlers. We know that if they release a new brawler between brawl passes, it won't be a chromatic brawler. And I think it's very unlikely that they'd release a rare brawler right now because the early game feels really good in Brawl Stars. There's a possibility it could be a trophy road brawler, but I think that, 8,000 trophies for Ems is pretty good. And that's why I think that the next brawler will likely be a legendary brawler, possibly a mythic. And if it is a mythic or a legendary brawler, that brawler is going to have some pretty unique mechanics. Let me introduce my brawler concept to you for Arson. I'm sure a lot of you have already heard rumors that the next brawler will likely be a fire brawler. A big reason for that is that when Colette's Mass Tax star power was released, Supercell put out this image right here on their social media, and people noticed that one of the pages from her scrapbook is burnt. Now, you might think that that could just be because she's using her scrapbook in battle to collect things, and some brawlers do use some fire, right? Like, some skins and like El Primo and stuff like that. But if you look closely to the signature that's burned, it starts with what looks like to me like an A, right? And there isn't a single brawler in Brawl Stars with a name that starts with an A. So I think that you can assume that just like Colette collects spikes from Spike's attack, sand from Sandy's attack, and shells from Shelly's attack, she also collected part of an attack from the newest brawler coming to Brawl Stars, Arson. Now, just to be very clear, Arson is a brawler concept that I came up with, and thanks to FreeFGP for creating the artwork for him. But this is speculation on my part. It's not confirmed. But at the same time, There's a lot of evidence pointing towards some sort of a fire brawler. Recently, people have noticed that at the top of the jungle theme in Brawl Stars, there are 2 Korean trigram symbols that stand for fire and water on these 2 pillars. Additionally, on October 10th, just as I predicted, the WKBR stream changed, and it went from saying,
"This is normal,"
to saying,
"We already told you, this is normal."
and as you can hear, there's something burning in the background, some sort of a fire, right? Now, I do have a lot of thoughts regarding the WKBRL stream and the changes to it and what I think it means. I'm going to talk about that later in this video, but for now, let's focus on the new brawler. It's the burning noise in the background that is the 3rd mention of fire or burning that's recently been brought up in Brawl Stars. And there's a chance it's all just coincidence, but I feel like it's pretty convincing that we're getting some sort of a fire brawler. Now let me talk about their mechanics. The term arson is a criminal act of setting things on fire or property on fire, which is why I think it would be perfect for a villain themed brawler. Plus, I've said for a very long time that it's only a matter of time that Supercell releases some sort of a super villain trio to counter Max's superhero trio. So let me talk about what I think his mechanics are going to be. One mechanic that has not been introduced into Brawl Stars is some sort of a damage over time mechanic that can stack. Okay, Crow's attack can poison enemies and that can deal damage over time, but that's not the main feature of his attack, it's just part of it. What I'm hoping for is some sort of a brawler that can deal multiple damages over time on a brawler that can actually stack and deal additional damage the more stacks of damage they have on them. And that's why I think that Arson's attack is going to be able to stack flames on up to 3 or maybe even 5 times on an opponent, right? And if they have 1 flame on them, they're going to take very minimal damage that can easily be ignored. But if they have 5 on them, then they will burn for a lot of damage and for a long time, which is a major concern for even the tankiest of brawlers. My guess is he attacks with a grenade launcher that can attack over walls, and when it does hit the ground, it explodes into a fiery inferno that stacks fire burns on enemies that get hit by it. Now for a super, he pulls out a flamethrower and burns a massive area in a line where, or maybe a cone, wherever he aims, that also burns down grass and applies stacks of burn damage on anyone that gets hit by it. And if you're closer to him, you take more stacks of damage, and if you're further away, then you take fewer, right? So basically it's kind of like a shotgun, but it's a little bit longer lasting. You guys get the idea. These are concepts that I would love to see in the game that I think would be a great fit for some sort of a fire brawler, and that I feel like would be a fun fit to have in Brawl Stars. As for what else we can expect for a Brawloween update, I don't think we'll be getting much else other than maybe 1 brawler and some skins. I do think that they will bring Life Leech back and give us an opportunity to play that a little bit more, and you know, because that's a fun one. People like that for short periods of time. I think that after Supercell's summer break, they worked super hard to put out the last update as quickly as they could, and they needed to put something out as quickly so they could do a new Brawl Pass and things like that, but they weren't able to get out all the things that they wanted to make a complete update. So I feel like this update is kind of like part 2 of the most recent update, and so I think they're probably going to be doing something minimal for the Brawloween update as well. Other than Life Leech, some skins, and maybe a new brawler, I think that they'll save anything really big that they've been working on for the next update in October. Now, before we talk about the WKBRL stream, I wanted to ask you guys a really important question. I think the update before last summer was really small. The most recent one was small. I think that this one's going to be small, and I've explained the reasons why I think that the update after that, the one happening in November, is going to be larger. So my question to you guys is, if we do get something really sizable in the November update, what would you want Supercell to be working on right now? This isn't me asking on behalf of Supercell or anything like that. I'm just really curious, okay? And I'm going to give you 3 options that I want you to say. The first option is, would you want Supercell to be focusing on something to do with clubs, maybe club wars or other social improvements? The second option is more competitive game modes. Is that something you would want Supercell to be focusing on right now? And the third option is an improvement to the competitive Brawl Stars scene, namely power play, some sort of a league system or something like that. Is that what you would want Supercell to be focusing on? And of course, if there's something else that you want Supercell to be focusing on right now until November, what else would you specifically want in the comment section? I'm thinking about doing a video of my own personal wish list of what I want for big content for Supercell to be focusing on, and I just want to know what you guys' thoughts are. Okay, now that I've finished talking about the update, let's talk about the WKBRL stream and Brawl Stars lore and Brawl Theory and all that jazz. As you know, I predicted in my last Brawl Theory video that something was going to happen on October 10th in regards to the WKBRL stream, or maybe the StarPark.biz website, or the investor video, or something, right? on October 10th, the WKBRL stream switched from repeatedly saying, "This is normal," to "We already told you this is normal." Nothing visual changed, but we also heard the burning in the background. This is not new news. I've already said this to you guys. But near the tail end of the investor video, a lot of people actually noticed the green smoke coming out of the building at the top, which makes sense because of when the guy actually broke the building with his pointer wand baton thingy, right? But what a lot of people didn't realize is that there was a fire on this part of the theme park. Now, I've already connected that the WKBRL stream is being sent from the park, but now we also have burning here and burning on the WKBRL stream. So we have a general location of where it possibly could be being streamed from. But what I find interesting is that there are actually a lot of references to fire on the starpark.biz website. This torn paper says, in case of fire, the water tower is the primary source of extinguishment. And it shows a picture of the water tower. But what's weird is that I looked at this overhead view of the entire park and I didn't see anything that looks like this water tower at all. But then there's also a mention that there's some sort of a small burn under the right flipper of the penguin plush. And now we're hearing burning on the WKBRL stream. I have a few theories as to like what it all means, but nothing solidified enough for me to like quite say yet. My hope is that we'll learn something else in the near future that will help clarify a few questions that I have. And once that happens, I'm absolutely going to be releasing some sort of a brawl theory that is going to uncover everything I discovered. There's a possibility that this is the way that they are actually hyping up some sort of a fire brawler, maybe even some sort of a fire and water brawler, which is actually something that Ray speculated over on his channel. If you guys haven't followed Ray, you absolutely need to go follow him. He does a really great job at covering some brawl news and picking up on some clues and hints that a lot of people actually miss. So he's really fantastic to watch. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm really interested to know what your thoughts are on all of this. So let me know in the comment section below. And for now, guys, this is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in Brawl Stars.